1961, when men were men and sheep shook, A.J. Foyt won his first pavement race. Happened to be the Indy 500, 1961. Welcome to Racing with Dio. I'm Dio. We're wandering the halls here looking for Dirt Track Danny. But we got to start the show off here with a little bit of sadness. We want to pass our racing condolences on to the Roger Holderman family, to his wife Linda and all the kids. Roger passed away this week. We're going to miss him. He owned Winchester. He was a great man. He did it all. He repaved it. He rebuilt it and loved that track and was Citizen of the Year of Winchester. Roger, we're going to miss you, buddy. We love you. Let's get on to the race in action. We got coming up this show, 1995 Usac Loctite Sprint Car Highlights. But the racing season starts, folks. It's just around the corner. The end of March, the 30th and 31st. It starts at Eldora and then goes to Winchester Saturday night and Sunday, so make plans to go to it. It's the Border Wars. Jeff Stoops Freightliner has put up some money, so we'll see who the champion is over the weekend, so make plans. And then starting in April, USAC fires up. They got Salem. They got some races in Missouri. And the sprint cars go off to Phoenix, so we got a good racing season coming up. But here at Racing with Dio, we have got racing. Don't forget, Sunday, tomorrow, why don't you go out to the HARF meeting out at Celebrations, 220 North Country Club Road, and vote for the officers of HARF. Let's go see if we can find Dirt Track Danny.
At Competition Welding, they build the sprint cars and Silver Crown cars. Here are some cars from last year. They got bent up a little bit. They're here to get repaired. And inside, we've got the 1996 cars being built to do battle out on the dirt in 1996. So let's take a look at the USAC Sprint Car 1995 season.
You know, Danny, there's a lot of new things starting off the year, like a new tunnel to get into Eldora in the middle of the backstretch back here. Brad Marvel, Doug Coletta, Print Express, all the big dogs have come to let her eat.
Speaking of big dogs, the one that's been scarfing up all the food the last couple of years, Dave Darlin, he's there. Eric Gordon showed up.
Hey,
Jack Hewitt, you can't keep him away from Eldora.
Then you got the drivers meeting, Frankie Kerr, Kevin Thomas talking about KT's old Frankie Kerr J&J. Somehow he put this engineering bar on the left side to jack the weight. And then the big discussion of the year, Glenn Nibel, Tony Stewart, and the V6. Will it work or will it not? Hoosier Tires, found on Frankie Kerr, changed from McCreary's to be the Hoosier guy. But Tony Stewart went out to qualify the Nibel V6, and he put away the naysayers by posting a good time and showing that Stewart and the V6 are here to race this season.
Stewart did a fine job qualifying at Eldora. First feature up of the year, down for the green flag Racing.
Into the first turn they go, and West Virginia, Mark Casella's got the lead. Around the outside's Terry Shepard in the Hawken car, and Dave Darlin gets by Byron Reed going into 3.
Rusty McClure in his 17 Newkirk car slides up. Byron Reed gets some of that back, and he slides into position. Dave Darlin grabs the lead from Mark Casella. Casella tries to get underneath of him, can't quite get it done.
Darlin drives off, pulls out a bit of a lead over Casella. Byron Reed's now 3rd.
Kevin Doty on the bottom, going to the front. There he goes into 3. He's trying to get a run on Dave Darlin. Gets a good bite down at the bottom and powers off the corner. Can't quite get it done at that point, but he tries it going into 1. Does a little slide job. See you later, Dave Darlin.
Doty gets the lead for the Chrisman team, comes down off the 4th turn, and wins the opener at Eldora. And it was a happy Chrisman victory lane. Following Kevin Doty to the line was Dave Darlin, Frankie Kerr, Kevin Thomas, and Byron Reed. Danny Irwin Jr. setting a new track record at Winchester. Watch this car work, Danny, because this is scary. It is moving all around.
Kenny Irwin working that race car. You can see his arms moving back and forth. Drives it down into 3. The back end slides around. He corrects. It slides a little more. Looks like a little push, but you want to push there at Winchester.
And he takes the lap time, and it's a 12:162. Good enough for a new track record. Coming down for the green flag of the feature. Greg Staub, Chet Phillip, bring him to the green. Back in the pack, Irwin's looking. They're bunching up. Billy Rose down the bottom. Mahoney up top, and Tony Stewart inside of Irwin. Stewart down the bottom. They're kind of backlogged. Stewart's taking a look underneath Rose, but can't do anything with him.
Greg Staub's kind of holding him up there a little bit. Chet Phillip trying to get underneath of him. Can't quite get it done. But there goes Kenny Irwin. Slides up in front of Staub. Staub says, I want it back. He comes back into the lead.
Irwin tries it again down in 3 and 4. He dives down, slides up, Looks like he gets the lead. He does take the lead from Greg Staub, and Stewart's back there trying to work around. But back in the pack, it's Staub, Mahoney, Phillip, and Doug Coletta, the champion. Doug's got a good pavement car. He's trying to get around. Staub's holding him up. Phillip up front looking good, but the leader, long gone, running away, is Kenny Irwin Jr. in the Hoffman-mobile. He comes down and wins the first pavement race of the year, and he's a happy boy. Chasing Kenny Irwin was Tony Stewart, Chet Phillip, Jim Mahoney, and Doug Coletta.
Randy Tolsma sitting around the Nibel pit waiting for Stewart to get back from a West Coast trip.
Featherlight Trailers, one of the proud sponsors of Usac. Mark Cassell putting on his decal. But check out this Super Sano race car, Danny. It's all Glen Nibel, built for one thing: make the left side work and haul the mail with this little V6. Very nice car. Kevin Thomas walking back there. Fine field of cars today for the Salem race. Billy Rose, he's all ready to go. Tony Stewart getting ready to qualify. Got his radio gear ready for the Silver Crown stuff. But Salem's always a good race. Tice Carlson, ain't no glamour to being in the slammer. Stay tail bottom. Jason McCord doing some pavement running. He's going to drive for Nibel this year. But it comes down once again. Fast time and another new track record. Kenny Irwin Jr. in the Hoffman-mobile. Watch him work. He is loose.
Kenny Irwin works that race car, gets her loose again, correct. Comes on down the front straightaway. Drivers are in the one, little tank slapper there. He's working that race car, gets a little loose again, but he's got a hold of that race car, and he sets another fast time at the Salem High Bank.
That's 2 new track records in a month for the boy Irwin. Here we are. We're racing Trey House, Eric Gordon, Kenny Irwin, following Dave Darlin. A little heat race action here. Irwin down low, makes her sticks, gets around, heads for Darlin. This is one of Darlin's first pavement races. His first one was at Winchester the week before. Irwin on the bottom, makes it look easy, doesn't he? Top 5 at Salem: Kenny Irwin, Eric Gordon, Jim Mahoney, Doug Coletta, and Jason McCord.
Carol Hope, John Stambro. Stand on the gas, John. Look at that left front lift up.
John's got a new stealth for this year. Coming down for the green flag, Mark Cassell, the wild child, gets a big wheelie jump. Eric Gordon goes to the top. Cassell drops in. Kevin Doty riding in third. And the rest of the field pushing and shoving, trying to get to the front. Eric Gordon in the STL cars leading Kevin Doty. 66 cars, Shepard, House, Elliott, Hewitt, Coletta, and KT.
Sneaking up there's Jack Hewitt, getting underneath the Eric Gordon into one. Down on the bottom, grabs a hold of the lead and starts to motor away.
Jack Hewitt comes down to win the Holman Classic at the Terre Haute Action Track. Top 5 at the Holman Classic: Jack Hewitt, Eric Gordon, Trey House, Kevin Thomas, and Dave Darlin. Pavement time, Danny. IRP. Chet Phillip on the pole, Tony Stewart on the outside, Doug Coletta riding in the second row, and that's Andy Mitchner in the 2 car. Stewart gets the early lead. Coletta's trying to do something on the bottom, but can't quite. Got a new paint job on Kenny Irwin. He's now black and orange TV colors. Gets into to Phillip a little bit, but Irwin tries to get down, gets by. He's got to get after Tony Stewart. He pulled out a considerable lead.
Tony Stewart working that race car, gets her a little sideways, but he's running good, and he gets the win at IRP.
Finds the back way into victory lane and disappears in the crowd. Tony Stewart gets win number 1 on the pavement. Chasing Tony Stewart to the line at IRP was Andy Mitchner, Kenny Irwin, Eric Gordon, and Jim Mahoney. Phillip and the rest of the boys hot lapping at IRP. Andy Mitchner, that's a fine helmet. Mitchner's Crown cars. Tony Stewart wiping off the grid because he wants to get to the front and win another one. Here we come down. Tice Carlson on the front row. Andy Mitchner gets a jump on him, and Eric Gordon gets the lead. Stewart drops into 3rd place going into 1, and Irwin was 5th. But here's the race for the lead.
Eric Gordon's holding on. Tice Carlson's trying to get a run, but here comes Tony Stewart. Slides underneath of him and almost gets him into the fence. Our leader, Tony Stewart, Kenny Irwin behind him. Tony Stewart coming down for the win.
Chasing Tony Stewart to the line was Kenny Irwin, Eric Gordon, Andy Mitchner, and a fine drive by Tice Carlson. But here we are at Winchester, the high bank. They just repaved it, and the racing's a little one groove tonight. Trey House gets into the lead. Back in the pack, it's Coletta looking at McCord. Up front, Mahoney's trying to get around, trying to do something with House. Tony Stewart's worked his way up to 2nd. Jason McCord's 3rd, and Doug Coletta's 4th.
Stewart's trying to find a way to use that transition to get around him, but Trey House is holding on. Stewart gets high, gets way loose, slows everybody else up. Trey House motors on down. There's the white flag. I don't think they can catch him. Trey House is just smooth as glass. Stewart's working as hard as he can, but he's not getting anything going here. Trey House through 3. Stewart can't catch him. Off of 4, and the winner is Trey House.
Following Trey House to the line was Tony Stewart, Jason McCord, Doug Coletta, and Eric Gordon. Woo, Racin'! Hey kids, here's your chance right now to get the latest in NASCAR coloring books. Dale Earnhardt's championship season, Jeff Gordon wins the Coca-Cola 600. Coloring books about both of them. $4 plus $2 shipping and handling. Send it to Racin' with D.O., P.O. Box 24298, Speedway, Indiana 46224, or give us a call at 317-481-1500 and get your coloring book now. Woo! Racin'! Yo, Tony Stewart fans, straight off the presses of Indy Screen Print, the Busch Grand National Stock Car shirt, the Usac Triple Crown shirt, Usac Midget shirt, or the Usac Silver Crown Sprint Car shirt. Want a Tony Stewart hat? Now's the time to get them. How about a Tony Stewart poster? Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. 1-800-344-9899. Weekdays 8 to 6, Saturday 11 to 5. Stop by your local Simpson dealer and check out your racing supplies, gloves, driving shoes, and helmets. Simpson, every lap, every race. Win a set of ground effect shoes by calling 1-800-654-RACE. Tell them, woo, Racin'. Call today, call often, 1-800-654-RACE. Help, state bonding. Give them a call, 236-6560 if you get in a little trouble with the man. Remember, there ain't no glamour to being in the slammer. State bonding, 24-hour service. Hoosier Tire, fast on the racetrack. Hoosier Tire Midwest, choose the winners. Championship back, because they're found on winners. Walk into the Hoosier Tire Midwest Claremont store on US 136, picking up tires, or just looking for some good Hoosier fashion wear. Large inventory of fast Hoosier tires. Call John or Dallas at 317-387-1955. You too can become a Hoosier champion.
Sometimes, good people have a hard time getting a good car just because they have past credit problems. Well, they should come to Plaza Motors, where the new buyer program can get them back on the road to good credit. Plaza Motors knows bad things can happen to good people. So if you've had a bankruptcy, repossession, or been slow pay, or if you have no credit history or credit problems caused by divorce, call Plaza Motors for easy pre-approval by phone. If you're working, Plaza Motors can get you approved. Call Plaza Motors now at 788-7118.
Kokomo, Indiana, Usac Sprints come to the quarter-mile flat track, and Tony Stewart showing them how to try to do it in the V6 of Nibel. Down to 3, it's a fine lap for him. But the thriller is Kenny Irwin Jr. driving the Bowen car, Danny. Hooks the cushion, gasses it around. He had crashed that night and wouldn't make the feature.
Next out, Brad Marvel, standing that car on the back wheels, bumping and grinding at Kokomo.
Brad, always a fast qualifier, but we're coming down. It's feature time. Kokomo's Tony Elliott's on the pole, drives her down to the bottom. Brad Marvel goes to the top there, racing around. Back of the pack, pushing and shoving, but Elliott has got the lead over Marvel, Thomas, Rose, and Dave Darland.
Well, they're rooting around with Brian Hayden leading the pack. Tony Stewart underneath the beam, running low, sliding just a little bit up in front of Hayden. He gets a hold of the racetrack and powers down the straightaway. Hayden gets his position back.
Stewart goes back down to the bottom, gets underneath Hayden, slides up in front of him. It's slide job city between the two. But up front, it's Elliott, Thomas, and Dave Darland racing for the lead. Elliott comes to the middle of the track. Thomas on the bottom, Darland on the top, coming around. Looks like Thomas gets a little drive coming off, but Elliott gets a big drive off the top of the cushion. Takes the lead going back into 3, Danny.
A typical sprint car race, Thomas, Elliott, and Darland.
Billy Rose, Brad Marvel, Jack Hewitt, and the rest of the field. It's a USAC race. It's a big night. but the race is all up front.
Thomas at the bottom, hits a hole, slides up a little bit. Elliott gets a run. There's the white flag. He still leads down into 1. Thomas is trying to bottom again. Lifts that left side of the car up. Doesn't get a hold of the racetrack. Elliott is powering down the back straightaway. Slides are down into 3. He's holding on to the lead. Thomas is working on him. Thomas slides up. They're coming down for the win. Tony Elliott.
And it's a hometown win for Tony Elliott. The finish at Kokomo in the dirt. Tony Elliott's your winner. Kevin Thomas, Dave Darland, Billy Rose, and Jack Hewitt. Farragut, Indiana. Once again, Tony Stewart working that V6, trying to show everybody. But it's feature time. On the front row, it's Greg Stopp, Brian Hayden, and Tony Elliott snakes around from the second row to take the lead. We're not sure who's got the lead in that first turn because there's cars everywhere. But Elliott pulls out ahead, and Darland's racing going into the pack. Back there's Doug Coletta and the bunch. 3 abreast, Coletta, Darland, Elliott, and Hayden in 4th.
Elliott's working that top. He's sliding, slipping, and the rest of the car sliding, slipping, but Elliott continues to lead. Doug Coletta's working the bottom, gets up beside Elliott. They're in 3. Coletta's trying to get a good move. Can he get it done?
But back up the front now, it's Jack Hewitt, puts a challenge for the lead. He gets tapped in the rear by Elliott, gets turned around, does a 360, doesn't lose any positions and goes on, but Kevin Doty shoots up, takes advantage of it, gets underneath Jack Hewitt, drives down. Hewitt slides up to the top. Coming down, it is a mess of cars. This is good racing, Danny. Elliott, Darland, and the rest of the field sliding down. But going in, it's Hayden and Hewitt. Up the top, it's Hewitt. He diamonds it off, comes down, gets a drive on Hayden, takes the lead going into turn 1.
That's the move that put him into the lead for the win at Farragut, Indiana Usac feature.
In Farragut, chasing Jack Hewitt to the line was Brian Hayden, Tony Elliott, Doug Coletta, and Kevin Briscoe. Terre Haute coming down for the green flag. It's the Wild Child. Mark Casella in the Hoffman-Mobile getting led into the first turn by Rusty McClure. Casella gets back around, but back in the pack, Danny. They are tight, pushing and shoving. But Brian Hayden is taking the lead. He's leading Casella, McClure, Marvel, Hewitt, and Doug Coletta.
Off of turn 4, Mark Casella, Jack Hewitt, Brad Marvel rooting around. Hewitt makes a big move in between them, down low. Mark Casella still holding on to that position.
Your leader's Brian Hayden. He's pulled off to a big lead, but Jack Hewitt's pulled out, got around these guys, and he's starting to run down Hayden.
But Jack Hewitt runs on to the win.
Chasing Jack Hewitt was Rusty McClure, Brad Marvel, Trey House, and Mark Wild Thing Casella. Indianapolis Raceway Park, Chet Phillip brings him down for the start. Doug Flett on the outside. Kenny Irwin from the second row drives her into 3rd place. Tony Stewart's back there. Trey House and the rest of the guys about 5th or 6th. But this is some racing. Irwin catches up with Coletta. They race. They almost touch. They slip. They slide. They try to touch, and Irwin gets by for position, Danny. Going down to take the lead. But back in the pack, Tony Stewart is struggling tonight. He's not as fast as he usually is. Working on Chet Phillip. He goes down. He's got a little push. He slides up. It's Stewart leading those guys, but comes down when it's all said and done. Your winner is Kenny Irwin Jr. On the pavement at IRP, following Kenny Irwin was Doug Coletta, Tony Stewart, Jim Mahoney, and Chet Phillip. But now it's off to Salem for the Joe James Pat O'Connor 50-lapper, Danny.
On the poles, Bill Rose. There's Doug Coletta, Jack Hewitt, all the hot dogs and heroes on the pavement. Salem, Indiana. I love that racetrack. Coming down for the green flag, Eric Gordon grabs the lead, leads him down in the first corner.
Down to 1, Stewart goes around the top. Jason McCord behind him. Stewart gets around Billy Rose, heads off for Eric Gordon. This is a 50-lap race. What do you do, Danny? Do you burn up the tires now, or do you save them? Stewart with that V6 might have an advantage due to the weight.
Well, if you stand on the gas like Eric Gordon did, right there, you'll get your tires all heated up, and you can't go anywhere. And Stewart's going to try and drive right around the outside of him, and he does it, coming up on lap traffic. Stewart's got the lead.
Tony Stewart, the Nibel machine, gets some heat from Kenny Irwin Jr. Irwin goes down. Stewart's loose, sliding around the top. We're towards the end of the race. They're going down the back stretch. Stewart's got the preferred line. Irwin to the flat, gets her loose, coming up on lap traffic. Stewart slides her down. Irwin can't do anything. 1 more lap to go or so. Another look on the bottom by Irwin. Irwin's hoping he's got something left to hold him. Stewart's sliding. He goes from top to bottom. cuts off Irwin going into 3.
Irwin's still trying to get down there and get around him. Can't quite get it done. Slipping and sliding, but coming down for the checker flag, Tony Stewart.
Big win for Tony Stewart because he idolized Pat O'Connor, who grew up in southern Indiana. Tony Stewart won the Joe James Pat O'Connor 50-lapper, followed by Kenny Irwin, Jason McCord, Doug Coletta, and Jack Hewitt.
Tony Stewart has his sights set on a national championship. We're at Granite City, and he says right here's where the season changed for him. He started 5th, moving right up to the top of the racetrack, trying to get a hold of that racetrack and get a win here at Granite City.
Billy Rose on the inside of Rusty McClure, Stewart on the top, driving around there, trying to run down Jack Hewitt, and Dave Feast has the early lead, running on Hoosier tires. Feast doesn't run with Usac an awful lot. He was a surprise, but it comes down. It's Hewitt, Stewart on the top. McCrary's best versus Hoosier Tires' best. So it's V8, V6, it's tires, it's cars, it's drivers. Going down the back stretch, Stewart dives to the bottom, forces a hole underneath Hewitt. There's a slight bump. Hewitt slides up to the top. Stewart takes the lead with the V6 coming off of turn 4 over Jack Hewitt.
Stewart goes back up to the top of the track, and he's a happy camper. He's got another win.
At Granite City in the pivotal race following Tony Stewart was Jack Hewitt, Rusty McClure, Mark Casella, and Billy Rose. But right here's where Tony Stewart wraps it up. The Eldora 4-crown. Corey Kruzman in the 45 gets a jump on Kevin Doty going into 1. Kruzman, the California Cowboy, driving to Drake. Setting sail, letting her fly. Stewart on the bottom, scraping for positions back about 6th or so. Byron Reed in the black car running 4th. John Stambro on the outside of Stewart. Stewart comes around the bottom. Tries to pull up in position, but back in the pack. Danny there, slicing and dicing, wheel to wheel.
A lot of slipping and sliding, but Tony Stewart's got around Kruzman. He's got the lead, and he's motoring away from the pack. Back in the pack, Trey House, Rusty McClure, Kevin Doty, 3 abreast, side by side, bumping and banging for that position.
Eldora always has a lot of close racing. Doty diamonds off, heads up towards the front. But down on the bottom, it's Tony Stewart tiptoeing around with a little bit of push. Dave Darling, the 69, right behind him, and Stewart wraps up the championship and takes the win. Wrapping up the Loctite title at Eldora with a win, Tony Stewart. Second, Dave Darling, Kevin Thomas, Tony Elliott, and Jack Hewitt. It's Winchester. They've repaved it, and it's racy. On the front, it's Eric Gordon, Jason McCord. McCord chops down and gets the early lead.
Running in 4th, Tony Stewart trying to get underneath the Chet Phillip. Can't quite get it done. Doug Coletta, Kenny Irwin side by side down in the first corner. Coletta's almost gets into him.
But up for second place, Stewart dive bombs. Gordon into second place, your leaders. Jason McCord, who's looking for his first USAC win. But back in the pack, Doug Coletta is trying to get to the front. He comes up on traffic. He goes around Steve Barth. Tony Elliott underneath Kenny Irwin. Catching up with a push and Chet Phillip. And it looks like it's a long ways to go, but Stewart has caught McCord. He goes around in traffic, tries to get around, can't thread the needle. McCord still got the lead. This is some tight racing. Stewart now tries the bottom, goes underneath Greg Stobbs, gets around, takes the lead from Jason McCord to lead the final race at Winchester. Stewart starts to pull away. Doug Coletta and Kenny Irwin. Coletta gets loose, almost gets into Irwin. Down in 3 and 4, Irwin pushes up, almost gets into Coletta, comes off. Coletta gets the position. Stewart has run into the wall. He's broken the wheel. He's crashed out of the lead, slides to the inside. Mike Blake, Steve Barth, Tim Cox get tangled up. There's the broken wheel that broke, that put him in the wall. Stewart's dazed and confused, but the champion. But we're back racing. It's the last lap. Jason McCord's got the lead. He's going to win his first USAC race. Doug Coletta wants to win. Coletta goes high. Diamonds off, comes down, gets into McCord. McCord turns around, tips over, flips across the line in 3rd place, and your winner is Doug Coletta, followed by Kenny Irwin, Jason McCord, Chet Phillip, and Eric Gordon. USAC Loctite final points: Tony Stewart, Doug Coletta, Eric Gordon, Trey House, Jack Hewitt. We'll be back with more. Woo! Racin'! Hey kids, here's your chance right now to get the latest in NASCAR coloring books. Dale Earnhardt's championship season, Jeff Gordon wins the Coca-Cola 600. Coloring books about both of them. $4 plus $2 shipping and handling. Send it to Racin' with D.O., P.O. Box 24298, Speedway, Indiana 46224, or give us a call at 317-481-1500 and get your coloring book now. Woo! Racin'! Stop by your local Simpson dealer and check out your racing supplies, gloves, driving shoes, and helmets. Simpson, every lap, every race. Win a set of ground effect shoes by calling 1-800-654-RACE. Tell them, woo, Racin'! Call today, call often, 1-800-654-RACE.
Hi, I'm Army Armstrong, and when in Indy, we always stop by Arizona Sports Shirts retail outlet located at 100 Gasoline Alley. For the latest in all types of racing t-shirts, you got to stop by Arizona. Diecast, collectibles, embroidered jackets in stock are custom ordered to your specs. Hey, a discount rack for all you traveling pros featuring t-shirts, hats, or they can make custom decals for your race car. All your collectible needs at Arizona Sports Shirts retail outlet located at 100 Gasoline Alley.
Pop a top, have a little wine, get out of control, get in a little trouble with the man, who do you call? State Bail Bonding, 24-hour service, 236-6560. State Bail Bonding, remember, there ain't no glamour to being in the slammer. 236-6560. Race fans, you need to get some printing done. Give Print Express a call out on East Washington Street. They support Trey House on the racetrack and are performance-oriented. The place to go for color, black and white, 1 million pieces to a handful of pieces. Print Express on East Washington. They print for everybody. Give them a call, 266-8208, or call our 800 number, 1-800-968-8216.
As a racing fan, you may be familiar with our work. We're Kiko Motorsports, the racing division of Kiko Engineered Coatings, and we create durable, permanent lubricity coatings that provide thermal barriers to protect against excessive heat, corrosion, friction, and oxidation. We provide coatings to last longer, cost less, and enhance your overall performance. Our coatings are used by the top racing teams in the world in nearly every form of racing. Call today for our free corporate video to see what Kiko can do for you.
You know, Danny, we're both down here in Florida, and I went to Smoky Unix. You went out and had some fun. So let's go back and look at some more X-rated Smoky Unix Speaks All. What about a guy like Tony Stewart? He comes from Sprints and Midgets. He did well in the IRL race, and now he's down here trying to do Busch. He was 11th fast at one point this week, and he thinks he's going to do well. What about newcomers like that? Do you see anybody on the horizon that you think's a newcomer hot shot?
Sure, that's how NASCAR got started. That's what Indianapolis was all about. Every year you found a new Tony Stewart. I remember when the day A.J. Foyt came there in 1958, same day, year that I started. Cocky and with, talent running out both ears, and then went on to become arguably the best driver this country ever had, and that's what it was good about. That's what NASCAR was good about. Tony Stewart ain't no different in 1995 than A.J. Foyt was in 1958. The only difference was that in the big argument between the IRL and the kart, Tony Stewart got a chance. That's what happened. If that argument hadn't started between those two companies, two organizations, Tony Stewart would still be driving a goddamn midget and a sprinter, and maybe he'd have got a ride in the Busch car. But it'd all be the hard way. Now, I think Tony Stewart has got a lot of talent, and he's probably has a hell of a future. But I'm going to tell you something. There's still 99 more Tony Stewarts out there if you just give them a damn chance right now. And that's the way racing used to be. If you had the talent and the perseverance, you could get a shot at it. You can't now.